recording, and I appreciate you watching over, letting people in. Thank you. So as you know, I am Rev.Penni Honey. This is Unity of Flagstaff, and all these beautiful people are here to participate today in Let's Talk, Random Acts of Discussion. Let's open with some prayer. How about we do that? Just take a deep breath. Thank you, Wiley. Look at that, how he just jumps right in there. It is good to be us. It is good to be us. We are the expression of the living, breathing Christ consciousness. So we open ourselves in this time and in each of our individual spaces to receive divine wisdom, to express divine light, and to connect as the divine beings that we are. We give great thanks for this opportunity. We give great thanks for this community. And we give great thanks for all those that we hold dear. We give great thanks for those that stretch us and grow us. For there is not a place, there is not a situation, and there is not a person that is beyond the grace and the expression of God. For this we are grateful. And so it is. Amen and amen. We're going to start out with some announcements. Today we have re-engaged our platform assistants. And today Bruce Higgins will bring our announcements to us. So Wiley, or I'm sorry, Robbie. Wiley, thank you for the music, is what I was going to say. And Robbie, when you're ready, we appreciate that. Thank you. Bruce Higgins.
Good morning. This is a blast from the past. Here are some announcements from platforms. We need recipes for our cookbook fundraiser. Does anyone out there like to eat? Eating requires cooking, and our potlucks in the past, back in the day when we had potlucks, have proven that we have a lot of people who know how to cook. So share those recipes. Support our community by sending your favorite recipe or recipes to office@unityofflagstaff.org. Social hour, 11 a.m. on Sundays. This is your chance to connect with your community at our 11 a.m. Sunday social hour. Find the link on our webpage. Click and join the fun. Brown Bag Mondays. There's a big space and a brown bag right here. So join Penny for a brown bag lunch Mondays at the Sanctuary, 1800 South Milton, Suite 103, at a time to connect and enjoy our beautiful space. You can email Penny at office@unityflagstaff.org. It is good to share. Share our YouTube channel, our newsletter, our website with your friends and family. We learned that in kindergarten, so it's good to practice it now. Auto Tithe. We appreciate the ongoing support of the community. Believe me, this is really important, and this ministry. As you know, you can donate on our website at www.unityflagstaff.org or mail those contributions to P.O. Box 1740, Flagstaff, Arizona 86002. Or who likes simple? Sign up for Auto Tithe, something Bonnie and I do, and it is very simple and we like it. And you don't have to remember your spiritual community. It will be remembered for you. Sign up on the website or contact the ministry at 928-526-8893. That's 928-526-8893, or email the office at unityflagstaff.org. and we will assist you in making your ride happen. And now I have one thing I want to talk about. I have been taking a walk in the woods virtually. This is on the Appalachian Trail. Now, I'm not actually walking the Appalachian Trail, but my friend Neil has pegged out the Appalachian Trail, the first 1,800 miles, 800 miles of it, that is. And as you walk, if you report your distance, it moves you up the trail, and you get to see what's at that spot on the trail. It's a lot of fun. It is free, and it runs from beginning of last month all the way through the end of December this year. And the whole trip is 800 miles, the same as what Bill Bryson took when he wrote A Walk in the Woods, about a trip that he and a friend of his took. And it's a very funny book. And by the way, there's a movie too with Robert Redford and Nick Nolte that I think you would enjoy too. And we plan to see that here real soon. Because of that, I was talking to Cindy about this, and I heard of walkers that might be interested. And after I talked to her, I was walking home, and it suddenly remembered somebody that I heard about many years ago in Unity. Her name is Peace Pilgrim. I want to talk to you about her just a little bit. Peace Pilgrim was born in 1908 as Mildred Lisette Norman. She was an American spiritual teacher, mystic, pacifist, vegetarian, activist, and peace activist. In 1952, she became the first woman to walk the entire length of the Appalachian Trail in one season. In the book Peace Pilgrim, Her Life and Work in Her Own Words, she related that her physical journey began after having experienced a spiritual awakening, following a long period of meditation practice. She said that this awakening was a direct mystical experience of the Creator's love. She claimed that this spurred her to then start her decades-long walking journey for peace. Starting on January 1st, 1953, right in the middle of the Korean War, she adopted the name Peace Pilgrim and walked across the United States for 28 years, speaking with others about peace. She was on her 7th cross-country journey when she died in 1981, ironically, while riding in an automobile. She had no organizational backing, carried no money, and would not even ask for food or shelter. When she began her pilgrimage, she had taken a vow to remain a wanderer until mankind has learned the way of peace, walking until given shelter and fasting until given food. Peace Pilgrim wrote, "This is the way of peace. Overcome evil with good, falsehood with truth, and hatred with love." And now I invite you to prepare for meditation.
So if you're not already muted, please do that now. Thank you, Wiley, for the music. So I invite you to relax. Feel the energy of the day, all those thoughts, that to-do list. So we rest now, allowing those things to just drop away for just a moment. And I invite you to breathe in, and when you breathe in, envision breathing in light. And we exhale light. And again, breathing in light. And we exhale light. Those thoughts that want to keep coming across our minds, concerns, that to-do list. We see each one of those things as a point of light. Just see them as light. And then we consider the joy of our day, the peace in our day. All that we have to be grateful for. And we envision those things as points of light. And we see all those points of light connecting. We feel the warmth of that light within. We feel it infused with the peace and the comfort and the safety of right where we are. We allow that light to bring us comfort. We allow that light to embrace us in healing. And as that light moves through our bodies, through our thoughts, we see it expanding outward as it enfolds those dearest to us. We see that light healing and comforting those that we love. And we allow that light to continue its journey. This spans across and around our globe, embracing and enfolding all. That expression of spirit, that expression of the divine. And as it continues to travel and enfold and embrace every sentient being, we feel the joy. We know the healing. And as that light continues to move through and around, emanating from us, through us, and all around us, we open our hearts to receive it back as we draw it inward and we feel the energy and we know the presence of peace. We allow ourselves now to rest in this moment. And we rest. And in the returning of the light to us, we are re-energized and revitalized. We are blessed and we are healed. And we find comfort in the connection. Spirit is right here, right now. For this, we are grateful. For this, we give thanks. And we breathe in light, and we release. And so it is. Amen. Okay, so now you can all unmute yourself because we do want to hear from you. As I had shared earlier, today is Let's Talk, Random Acts of Discussion. We're going to try this out. We're going to see how this fits for us. And I am blessed to have supporting me today, of course, Wiley and Matt, who are willing to come up with random acts of music as we move through this. So we'll just see how this goes. Don't you love a little experiment? Yes, 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 yes. So what I'd like to do is I'd like to open the floor. Conversation. And again, these are spiritual topics. If you have, so what does unity say about that? Or how does that apply in today's world? Because we've got a lot going on in today's world. And Robbie, do we want to go to gallery now? Or are you already there?
I'm already there.
Excellent. Okay, so I'll just adjust mine. There we go. All right. So, what you want to talk about? Kay wants to talk about something. What you got, Kay?
I would like to just kind of explore mindfulness and awareness, the difference between the two. What is what are we heading for in mindfulness, in awareness? Is there a difference? You know, how do we think about that?
So I love that question because I happen to be taking a meditation class right now. And last night I was asked to lead the meditation, a mindfulness meditation for my meditation class that I'm in. And mindfulness, so first you asked the difference between mindfulness and awareness, correct? Right. So mindfulness is being present to how you're feeling and how you're responding to what is going on around you. Awareness is noticing what is going on around you. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
So when you ask where are we wanting to go with mindfulness, let's see. So let me think here. And you know what? My wonderful musicians, I didn't bring my list of songs. I apologize. But what we're going for in mindfulness, as we teach in New Thought, is this is the moment. In this moment is where the healing is. In this moment is where the connection happens. In this moment is. And how am I receiving that? How am I showing up for that? And how am I going to be blessed in this moment? So tell me what your thoughts are about that now. And that's everybody. I'm inviting you all into the conversation.
Yeah, I would like to hear from other people about it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm happy to report I've taken a mindfulness class twice before, and I just signed up for one online, and I'm on lesson number 7. One of my, is a local guy, George Breed, was the first person to orient me to it. And his definition was that mindfulness is the combination of the following 3: awake, alert, and aware. So I've kind of heard that mindfulness, that awareness is part of mindfulness, but it's not synonymous. And the lesson I learned last night that got my interest was, being aware of your breathing is a foundational thing. And then, starting to get in touch with your body, because there's all kinds of sensations. The concept that I heard that made the most sense was that when we're not mindful in this context, then our minds are hijacked with feelings, hijacked with old tapes, hijacked with automatic pilot. And I thought that it kind of made sense for me that so many times we say and do things mindlessly because we don't think about it, we just respond. And the antidote to that, very conceptually, is that being mindful, which is a practice and it does take practice, means that you're really aware of you're mindful, you're aware, you're awake and alert of what's going on here and now, not what happened before, which means I'm already skipped over what's really going on. So mindfulness is to be fully in the present because you're really receiving the signals, the stimulus, the senses, to include emotions. So it's a very different focus. And the last distinction is that if I'm in the driver's seat, I'm mindful, but my mind, my ego, my automatic pilot very often is the driver, doing things automatically. And then my mind is driving, and here's I'm not playing with words to be silly, but my mind is driving rather than me driving. And so there is a distinction. And when you're mindful, you're the observer. You're saying, what am I feeling? What am I seeing right now? And when you're observing, you are in the driver's seat. And when you're not observing, you're just reacting.
How many people have had thank you, Robbie, that was fabulous. How many people have had a mindful moment that you can recall, that you knew that you were absolutely in that moment, that you were alert, that you were aware, that you were present to what was in front of you. You were present to the experience. How many people have had that moment? And do you recall what that brought to you? What was the benefit of going into a state of mindfulness? What's the benefit to that?
It's been a half an hour since I told him. Or does he have a few more minutes?
Oops, Marcia?
Not being in conflict with myself,
Oh, good one.
not judging myself.
Anybody ever do that, or is Marcia the only one?
She's the only one. Yeah.
She's the only.
Rev.Penni, I actually did not hear what was said.
About what Marcia said?
Yes. Yeah. What, like if she's the only person, or do other people do things?
Being in conflict with yourself and beating yourself up, being judgmental of yourself. And the question was, is there anybody else here that ever does that?
Oh, well,
Yeah.
I'd be glad to join that team of I've done that too many times to count. So I've stopped counting.
Right. And go ahead, Marcia.
Well, I think one of the things that might be hardest at first to accept about mindfulness meditation is that you accept negative feelings as they come. You don't grab onto them, but you accept them. And Jon Kabat-Zinn started out with people who had medical problems and pain. Everybody know who Jon Kabat-Zinn is?
Mm-hmm.
No.
Oh, okay. He's the one that pretty much brought mindfulness meditation to general public awareness in the US. And he had a clinic where people who, for example, had severe pain that couldn't be treated, or had a terminal disease that they were having a terrible time dealing with. And he taught them mindfulness as a way to accept it and not fight it. And his, when people weren't fighting with their pain, for example, and weren't imagining a lot of things about it, they found out what exactly it felt like rather than what their mind was making out of it. And it was, he was very successful over decades in this clinic. He's retired.
Marcia, remind me how to spell his name. Is it a K or a C, John Cabot?
KABAT-ZINN.
So I'm going to put that in the chat so you all can see it. And if you want to write it down and check out his work, it's worth checking out. So thank you for that mention.
Okay.
And Robbie, you said that you took a class with George Breed, our George Breed here in Flagstaff.
He's the first one that oriented me to it, but there are two people, Kathy Small and Alan, who's a business manager at the university. But I'm taking one online from Sun Sounds. But I learned about it initially. Why I was motivated to do it was local George Breed, yes.
Excellent. And Kathy Small is the author, isn't she, to the book that we read?
Yes.
Yeah, Man in the Park.
Right.
About homelessness. She's our local author that wrote on
right.
homelessness. How cool is that, right?
Didn't Alan do a mindfulness meditation class? Is that what you're talking about, Robbie?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I took their class twice and kind of got me going.
Excellent, excellent. So Kay, when you ask the difference between mindfulness and awareness, does this help get that clear for you? And what does anybody have to say about awareness? Nothing?
Well,
We're totally unaware.
I love it.
Well, I'm kind of captured by the distinction that if mindfulness is awake, alert, aware, then aware is not, well, first of all, you have to be awake to be aware.
I was just checking to see.
Yeah.
Oh, let me deal with that. And awareness is really being open to the input that you're receiving in the present moment. Take
Right.
care of that little situation here.
Got it?
I'm gonna fix that.
So with that definition, what I think, Robbie, what you're saying is that aware is part of the mindfulness. So aware is one of the stages or one of the things that are required to be in mindfulness, right?
okay, so that's number one. Number one is be aware. Then you move on to mindfulness, which is more in touch with your body and your feelings.
And awareness is actually a part of the mindfulness. It's one of the steps or one of the things required to be in a mindful state,
Okay.
Does that make sense? Do you think I'm articulating that correctly, Robbie?
Yeah, well, it's,
Okay.
it's interesting. It's one of those things, simple but not easy.
Yeah.
It really
Yes.
makes sense, and it is a practice.
Okay, it's a practice.
If I was to think of the order, the first thing is to have the intention to be mindful. The second thing is to acknowledge, am I awake? Because I can easily get into a meditative zone out thing. And, mindfulness meditation is not the kind of meditation that you get all zenned out, because if you get all blissed out, you're not awake. And, even being alert is, I think they're qualities. So awake, alert, aware, you have to be awake and alert are qualities so that your primary focus is to be aware. And Alan said, mindfulness meditation is to be fully in touch with what's going on right now. So the whole emphasis is on the present moment.
So the reason that I was given the assignment in my meditation class to lead a mindfulness meditation was because I was saying, when we had our snowstorm last week, I was doing a lot of shoveling. I'm sure as a lot of us were, right? And I noticed that it was meditative for me. That the action of shoveling, right, of moving the snow. So I'm present to the fact that the snow is still falling, thinking, I wonder how much this is getting me ahead of the game. And it was also about appreciating what the planet has the power to do. That was a mindful place to be about shoveling snow.
Mhm.
And then so I had mentioned this in the meditation class. Now, I will tell you, by the time I got to the end of the driveway, and it was still snowing, and so there was now new snow, I wasn't feeling very mindful at that point, right? And I slipped out of mindfulness into, okay, so this is just going to keep going and we're going to keep getting snow. And I'm really glad about that. But I also know that I need to come out in a couple hours. So now I'm no longer present to there's snow, I'm shoveling. That's the idea of mindfulness is you connect with your breath, you connect to what you're doing and what is happening right now in that moment. And you can do that doing just about anything. You can be in a mindful meditation, at least for me, in my humble opinion. You can do mindful meditation when you're cooking. You can do it when you're cleaning. Earlier, Helen was doing some mending or sewing on her face mask. That could be a very mindful thing to do, right?
Mhm.
Now, it doesn't mean that you're going to stay in that state, right? And it doesn't mean you're always going to go to that as a default. But what we know is that when we can be mindful about what we're doing and in a state of mindfulness, whatever that we're doing or that is in front of us has the opportunity to bless us, because what we teach in Unity is it's all good, right? So we get to be more present to that knowing, to that wisdom. Yes, Matt.
So I think I'm confused about mindfulness and mindfulness meditation, because I've known mindfulness as a practice that's taught to people who have bipolar and other mental disabilities, where they can keep themselves from getting to a certain state where they lose control if they're aware and in touch with their feelings. So I don't, and then also in sports performance, they talk about being totally engaged in the moment, and it doesn't have to be just sports performance, team performances, group performances, musical performances, where you're completely aware. That's how I see the awareness. And then, so I was unaware that it was a meditation. Is it a bigger thing that?
I don't think it is. I think mindfulness, I think that we say mindfulness meditation, for me anyway, and I think it is about being mindful, because you get into a state of you're completely present. For instance, sports performers, right? Sports guys, sports people, right? They get in the zone. That's what they used to say. They're in the zone. That would be, in my opinion, mindfulness. And that can become an actual meditation, a focus, this is what's in front of me, this is what I'm doing, and I've had the intention of staying mindful with this, and we know that it enhances performance. We know that with sports people, with athletes, with musicians, with speakers. When you get in the zone, as we used to call it, I don't know, do we still call it that? Do they still call it getting in the zone? Is that what it's called? Right? So when we tag on meditation, I think, Matt, what happens is that we act like we think, well, that means I've got to be sitting in a room somewhere, or I've got to be thinking, right? I've got to be focused on this, or I've got, And for me, that's why, like I said, that's why it came up in discussion in meditation class, because it was about me shoveling snow.
Mhm.
I was mindful in that process. And I enjoyed it a lot more at the beginning when I was much more mindful than when I got to the end of the driveway and I looked and I thought, well, okay, I'm going to be out here in a couple hours. I was no longer in that moment. I was 2 hours from there. See?
Marcia,
And so-
did you have something to say?
Yes, I did. Mindfulness meditation is the practice ground for carrying it into the rest of your life. So sitting meditations, structured meditations are how you become acquainted with that state. And at the end, I have a bunch of them that are narrated by John Kabat-Zinn. And they frequently end with, and you can carry this out into the rest of your day.
Right,
Okay.
right.
And I do a lot of sitting meditation on that end. But you can find mindfulness. You know, we've all experienced mindfulness just in life, but I think it's worthy to have a practice of meditation to reinforce those brainwaves.
Yeah. Oh, I agree. Alice, you had something to say, and then Trina, I think you've got something to say.
Yeah, so in Tai Chi, we talk about intention and focus. And when you're in focus, you're, at least when I'm in focus of doing a set or whatever I'm doing, I can see my body working. I can feel what's happening. And so to me, intention and focus are a big part of it. When I sit in meditation, which is rare, and I get to the place where maybe some would call zoned out, that's the time when I expect and sometimes get the voices that tell me what's going on in my future, what I should be doing in the future. So I don't think if you get to the point of being zoned out, you're not asleep, but you're aware internally in listening and feeling. So that was just my thought on that.
Got it.
It's more, because I walk and when I was walking up on McMillan Mesa, I was hearing the birds, I was feeling my feet, you know, on the pavement or not in the trail, and feeling the sun. And so but I didn't call that a meditation.
Oh, I think
But
it
it
is.
was just a
I
being,
think it is.
being you know, so.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that people shy away from meditation because it does come with a, this is the way it should look. And I agree, Marcia, when you say, you know, these guided meditations and these structured meditations, and it gets people into practice, right? They kind of get the sense of it. I do think that some people shy away from meditation because they think, well, I don't have the right pillow, I don't have the right music, I don't have the right incense, I don't have the right candle, I don't have, you know, it's sort of like journaling, Sue. I don't have the right pen, I don't have the right book, I don't have the right, it's that thing that we do, right? So Trina, what were you gonna say? And you're muted, honey, so we'll need you to unmute. Thank you.
I'm not alone in the house, so I'm muted.
I'm not alone.
So I'm not a sit and meditator. That's really hard for me. But I'm a moving meditator. Like when I go on my swims, when I go swimming laps in the pool, it's a very repetitive motion physically, and it's extremely meditative for me. And I'm very much mindfully in the moment. Like I'm not, and my thoughts kind of float in and out just like they're supposed to do when you meditate. And you know, and I just kind of, you know, move through them and move my body through it. And it feels very much like a meditation and very much like being fully present. You know, just, I am like there with my body, you know, and how are my arms feeling and how are my feet feeling and how are my, you know, what's my form, you know, I just am very present with that experience. It's probably a lot like Tai Chi, You know, I mean, it has that. I mean, it's different, but I mean, it does the same thing for me that I think Tai Chi probably does for Alice.
Right. Michael.
Yay, I finally get noticed. So I want to make a point about, mindfulness and awareness and being conscious about those moments in our lives when we step away from those moments of mindfulness and awareness, when we are not fully there for either ourselves or somebody else. And we must honor that and forgive ourselves when we are not in the right place for those moments.
Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Agreed. Agreed.
And
So
then
go ahead.
and then the other thought that I wanted to share is about people with different abilities and such. Like there's so many different ways. Like for me, something that keeps me grounded is just watching different like funny video clips or just something out there that makes me laugh, or TV show bloopers. That's kind of how I meditate. But as far as like meditation in terms of my particular different ability, which is high functioning autism, Asperger's syndrome, along with heightened anxiety and depression, I get more frustrated that I can't be more mindful and aware of what causes that interaction within my body that expresses outward emotion that doesn't present who I am as a authentic and divine human being.
Right.
I honor
And
that.
and isn't, yes, yay, Ra? Yes. Yeah. And it's interesting, isn't it? And Matt, I think you have a song to this effect. Based on, and so Michael, like you shared, that you have different abilities, right? And things that cause it to be more difficult for you. However, we all, and you are the first to agree to this because I've heard you talk about it, we all have those places or characteristics, and we just can't get to where we want to get to, right? And the cool thing is this: God already knows where we're at. So we're going to have what we need. We're going to have what we need to move us forward and to evolve into our next greater expression. It's living with that frustration, and you're on, Matt. So Matt's got a little song for us.
I'll just do a piece of it. Well, you can't always get what you want. No, you can't always get what you want. But if you try sometimes, you just might find you get what you need.
That's what we're talking about, right?
Right.
And the fun part about that is this, is that it's a little tongue-in-cheek, I suppose, to break into that song. However, we always get what we need, right? And as often as we may have to go back to the table to bring ourselves into mindfulness, as often as we have to keep trying it out, as often as we have to keep coming back to it and maybe feeling like we're not succeeding at it, the point is the intention of coming to it, of wanting to arrive at it, is what makes the difference in our lives, and we will get what we need. So thank you, Matt.
Yes.
All right, so what's another topic? Because we've got other great music, and you guys are going to have to help me out on this because I didn't bring my list. What you got, Bob? Oh, go ahead, Michael.
So in these times, why do we refrain from being our true, authentic selves? Is it because we are fearful of being judged, being ridiculed, or that we are scared that others will think differently of us.
Yes.
And how do we move that past?
You hit it right on. And how do we move it past? Go ahead, Michael.
Yeah, so how do we move past that fear so that we can be our authentic selves, even when we are not in those best places physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually?
Anybody
How
having
can
that
we express
experience?
ourselves?
Yeah. Anybody else having that experience in today's world?
Oh, yeah.
Or and not just in today's world, right? Right? So how do we do that? I think mindfulness, I think meditation is one of those ways. Would you agree? Whatever that looks like for you, whatever form that takes. What do you have to say about that, Kay?
I think if you have a very brave affirmation that you're using regularly, that it's almost intimidating to say it. It's something you want, it's something you intend. You're going to use it until it becomes natural to you. And you finally, accept that you are there, that you have come there. You were always there, but your personality, your ego wouldn't let you go there.
So it's courage.
It's your courage.
I've got
It's
a
courage.
10-second answer.
All right.
Of course, I'm going to push a button to make it happen.
I love it.
Michael.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. What he said.
That's it.
But Michael, that's such a great question, because I think, I don't know about you all, but are we not all finding new ways to do this? And aren't we? Are you guys, have you found that to be true during this period of time? Let's say just in the last 6 months, right? Have you found yourself looking for ways to be authentically expressive through a mask, on Zoom, right? I so want to see people's feet, right? I just want to see people's feet. And
Okay, everybody.
Okay, everybody. But you're right, Michael, because we move away from our authentic selves. And I think, Kay, you made a really good point. You're almost afraid to claim it, and I think what happens, Michael, is we think we should have the answers. And Wiley, I think you've got something to say about that. We think we have to have the answers. We think we should have it figured out. And the truth is that we are divine beings. So we're already built to have the answers. And it is a matter of allowing ourselves to not have to know. I don't have to know how to do this. I have no manual. None of this came with a manual. I used to say to my stepkids, listen, let's give each other a break. You didn't come with an instruction manual, and I've never been a stepmom before, right? What if we gave ourselves permission that I don't have to know anything? I don't have to know. Where would we be with ourselves and with others if we gave ourselves that power? Wiley has a little thing for us right now. I think that'll fit into that. What do you think, Wiley?
I don't know anything, but everything is possible. I don't know anything, and everything is possible. I don't know anything, but everything is possible. I don't know anything, but everything is possible.
How about it? So I think in the giving of permission to ourselves, I think in giving ourselves permission, we truly then open the way to allow other people to be their authentic self. When we give ourselves permission to not know, that courage to hold that intention, Kay, that you were talking about, that courage becomes exacerbated by the fact that I don't have to know, that I don't know. And the truth is, I might not know what to do with it if I knew it. So I'll know it when I need to, right? I'll know it when it's a fit for me. Charles Fillmore says this about, let me see if I can put my hand on this real quick. God is personal to us when we recognize God within us as our indwelling life, intelligence, love, and power. So we don't have to know anything. All we have to do is recognize that God within us as our indwelling life, intelligence, love, and power, that we'll have what we need. So Michael, does that support you in feeling like, okay, maybe I have a little better idea about that?
Yeah, and as I was thinking about that, I was thought, if I don't know how to do something or don't know all the answers, I'm a divine being with many other divine beings around me who can bring strength to my weaknesses.
Yay.
You see why I've turned Sunday over to him periodically to speak with us? Isn't he amazing? Isn't he amazing? So what else? What else is there? Let's take one more. Let's talk about one more thing. Anybody got one?
I do.
Oh, come on, don't. Good. Because I don't like dead airspace, right?
Great. I have one. I'd like to talk a little bit about the connection between mercy and forgiveness.
Really? Really? You really want to talk about that? Okay. So let's start with definitions. How about we do that? Now, did you say the difference or the connection? The connection between mercy and forgiveness?
Either way, I think it's a connection.
Okay. So this is what it says in the Revealing Word, which is really, this really is just about my Bible, about mercy. And my musicians be thinking about this because I got a couple things flying around in my head that might work on this actually. Let's see. Oh, Wiley, I think that I'm a child of light will be the one that we end up with. What do you think? So, okay, so this is what the Revealing Word says about mercy. Mercy is the Christ-like behavior toward suffering. Christ-like behavior towards suffering. The important point in desiring to be merciful is righteous adjustment. Oof. That could be a big discussion, couldn't it? Righteous adjustment.
Read that again.
Mercy is the Christ-like behavior toward suffering. The important point in desiring to be merciful is righteous adjustment. So in other words, I think, you tell me what you guys think, if we talk about mercy, it's about taking on the Christ consciousness and moving into and adjusting our own sense of righteousness that we can walk in somebody else's shoes. That's my interpretation. That for just a minute, like our new president said in his inaugural speech, his mother used to say, be in my shoes, be in their shoes for just a minute. That's mercy. to make an adjustment to our own righteous, I don't know, makeup of who we are, that we can then walk in someone else's shoes and be present to whatever it is that they're experiencing.
Mhm.
And you know what? I think the first place we start that is with ourselves. What if you made a righteous adjustment about the way you see yourself in the world? And when we talk about that connected to forgiveness, if I make that righteous adjustment, if I make that adjustment to the core of who I am so that I can be more present to my own suffering, to my own pain, to my own disappointment, I can then move into a place of empathy and forgiveness and kindness for myself and all others. Now this is starting to feel like a Sunday morning. So when we talk about the connection between being merciful and being forgiving, applying mercy in the act of forgiveness, it would be taking on, as he reminds us, the Christ-like consciousness, the Christ-like behavior. To love one another as you love yourself. And if you notice in that statement, it always starts with you. It always starts with you.
Yeah.
We just don't have any choice about that, because trust me, I've tried.
Yeah.
Anybody else? Have you ever tried? I can be nice to everybody. I can be kind to everybody while I'm beating the hell out of myself. How does that work for you? How does forgiveness, true, authentic forgiveness, work when you can't even have mercy for yourself?
Yeah, doesn't work.
How does that feel? So Helen, what do you think?
So I'm wondering, do you see mercy coming before forgiveness?
I
or
do.
forgiveness coming before mercy, or what?
I see mercy coming before forgiveness, but that's just my personal preference. I also like pork chops. There are a lot of people in the room that don't. And I think it's that individual. I think it's that it applies like that to each of us individually. Some of us may have to do our forgiveness work before we can ever give ourselves mercy. But if it's not working for you in that formula, flip it around just once and see what happens. Maybe if you quit working so hard to forgive yourself or someone else, and you went to a righteous adjustment, to adjust your thinking and your consciousness to a place of understanding where you are and where they are, forgiveness may come just like that. And again, it may not. I don't know. You know, like I say, that and $6 will get you a great cup of coffee, right? My opinion, and $6. So how does anybody else, how are you feeling about that? How's that feel? So Mr. Wiley, why don't we give that I am a child of light a little whirl?
Oh,
Oh,
I actually have something that's more directly right to what you said.
I love it.
It's this. I want to see things right. No need to set things right. I will forgive myself. I will see things right.
Beautiful.
Perfect. Perfect. Oh, yes. Okay, so. Yes. All right. How are we feeling? How are we doing?
I feel enlightened.
I love that. So what do you think about this little format?
I think we should do it more.
What's that? Again, Marcia thinks we should do it more often. What was the other?
I was just saying, I think it's good to do periodically.
Mm-hmm.
Good. Okay. Excellent. Now, our musicians worked hard to put together a list because I just told them these topics, this is what's always going to come up, and I was wrong. And so I said, oh, it's always all about, see, what did I say? It's always all about I'm not enough. It's always all about, what else did I say? Trust. That was another one. What do I know, right?
Yeah.
The brilliance, we are surrounded by brilliance. But what I would like to do before we close, and thanks for playing along, right? I feel like I should have like door prizes or something. But
Only what we learned.
thank you. Me too. That's what I feel. So I'd like the musicians just to do their little stints that they had so that you could get a sense of, and as we move forward, we'll add, and we do this every so often, we'll add more little songs. And these guys, they're just so smart. Like Wiley says, no, I got a better one. And he's right. It was a better one. So Matt, do you want to tell us what you had on deck for us today?
Why don't I just do a few seconds of one of them and we'll save the other one.
Okay.
If we do it periodically, but I think Mike said something about in these times, and man, I'm struggling. I can't sit in the house anymore. I just want to go, or I don't feel like I'm able to go out and be my authentic self. And
I don't know. I know this is kind of spot on with the music, but when you were saying that, maybe a little few lines of "My soul is welcome here wherever we are."
Yeah, there you go. We'll work on that one, Michael. You bet we will.
I was
love
thinking
that.
this one, Mike. I was thinking this one, Michael. Just blue skies smiling at me, nothing but blue skies do I see. Bluebirds singing a song, nothing but blue skies from now on.
I'm in. And Matt, please let me remind you that this community is here to support you and each other. Because I think we're all feeling a lot of that.
Yep.
Do you agree? Can I get an amen with this?
I'll give you an amen and then some.
Yeah, right. And I would love for you to email me and guide me in what it is you think you need to hear about. That's why I thought this was important, to talk about what's up for you. You know, I can run out of ideas, not very often, really good ideas that I think are good ideas, just like I had the answers, right, Wiley and Matt, to what all the topic was going to be, right? I need that same kind of guidance from you. So I'm listening. We're listening. This community is here. We're here to support each other in this. And, you know, I think that there's a little bit of a honeymoon period since we've had a change of things going on in the world. But the reality of what is happening is still happening. And we're being invited into that every day. And we're tired. I think there's some tiredness to that. You know, Robbie said yesterday, what about coping? He said, do you think people will talk about coping? And I think that would be a topic that's worth looking at together also. What I know is that you are divine children of God. What I know is you are surrounded by brilliance. Just look at the screen. What I know is that you inspire me every day. And that is how we're here to support each other. That's what we're here to do. It is. It's what we're here to do. So Wiley, what do you got for us? And then we have a special song that was recorded a while back with Wiley and Matt. It's a fabulous song called Inside Out. But Wiley, what would you like to share with us now?
The other song,
Oh, sorry. Did I put you on the spot? I'm sorry.
no, it's okay. It's a song I've done when we were together called Be the Love You Are, adapted from Marianne Williamson's talk that she gave. It goes like this. Be the love you want to see in this world. Be the love you are. Be the love you want to see in this world. Be the love you are.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Perfect. So I don't know if we're all complete, but it is time for us to close, and I'd like to do that with prayer. Just a quick reminder, we do have movie night, and that is Saturday at 6:30. The Zoom link is on the website. If you have any questions, of course, you can always email me at office@unityofflagstaff.org. We'll watch the movie together on Zoom, and we'll have a little conversation. I miss conversation. I miss all of you, actually, more than I realize. So let's just breathe into a beautiful time with each other where we know we are one and we are connected. It is with great gratitude that we close this time. It is with a softened heart and an opened mind that we come together in the presence of each other's brilliance, where we support and learn and love. There is but one power and one presence, and that is God the Good. Great Creator, Divine Master, Mother, Father, God. And we are one with that. Be the love. Allow yourself to be loved. We affirm nothing will disturb the calm peace of my soul. And when I forget, this community is here to help me remember. We are the love. We are that. We are that. And for this, we are grateful. Yay, God. So it is.
And so it is.
And now, Robbie, we will have you give us the pleasure of enjoying this closing song, recorded, as I said earlier, by Matt and Wiley. Thank you, Matt and Wiley. Thank you, Robbie. And thank you all for being here. And we're back.
Quick
It's coming.
That was a very quick song. I missed it.
Your earphones must not have been working. I love it.
Pause, Lay Minister Michael, I put something in chat that I wanted to say to you.
Aw,
myself and about what you said.
can we share it while we're waiting?
Yes, you mean.
Okay, okay. So
What I
go
wanted
ahead.
to say was that I'm spending my whole life learning that people aren't as judgmental as I think they are.
Ah,
And what Michael said about what you said about our all being like expressions of God, and each of our individual abilities fills in, fills in the whole. That really speaks to me along those lines.
excellent.
Mhm.
So how we doing, Robbie? Oh, I lost Robbie.
Yeah, I gotta bring it back up.
Okay.
It just died.
Okay, so if you all do get the chance to join us for movie night, I think it'll be fun. You bring your own popcorn because you're at your own house, of course. The movie is Kiss the Ground, and it's this fabulous Woody Harrelson. Isn't that the guy's name? Am I saying the right, Helen and Michael?
Right.
Woody Harrelson is the MC, and of course, he's a lot of fun. But what I really enjoy about it is he starts out saying, "I give up." And he's talking about what he can do for the planet. He says, it's overwhelming. I give up. And he says, and I'm guessing a lot of you have too. And then as the movie unfolds, and it's a documentary kind of, but it's very interesting. And it's actually, he's fun, of course. But at the end, he reminds us that he has decided after this information not to give up, because we each can make a difference in our own way. We truly can, and it's not hard. And we truly can turn this around. And it's very inspiring. And so I really encourage you to be a part of that with us. And it's on Netflix, but we're gonna, of course, play it on Zoom. And then we're gonna have just a little discussion afterwards to see where we're all at with that. Okay, so Robbie, if this is it, oh, look at you. Be sure to mute your microphones, please.
Every now and then this world can swallow you alive, break you down a little at a time. But together we can make it right. Follow our hearts deep into the night. Maybe help someone else along the way. We light this world from the inside out. Leave the fear and darkness behind. It's just a subtle glow that grows one soul at a time. Keep the faith, we light this world from the inside out. We have felt the chill of an air wind blowing in. The puppet master, he spins his empty lies. If we were many sheep, we would be theirs to keep. But hand in hand, we will make a stand. We'll light this world from the inside out. Leave the fear and darkness behind. And it's just a subtle glow that grows one soul at a time. Keep the faith, we'll light this world from the inside out. If we keep the faith, we'll light this world from the inside out. In a book by its cover, the gender of your lover and the color of our skin is not a sin. So put the hate away, we don't need it here today. We can go through all of this again. And we light this world from the inside out. Leave the fear and darkness behind. It's just a side of a blow that grows one soul at a time. Keep the faith, we light this world from the inside out. We'll light this world from the inside out. Leave the fear and darkness behind. It's just a side of love that grows one soul at a time. Keep the faith, we'll light this world from the inside out. If we keep the faith, we'll light this world from the inside out. Thanks, everybody.
Yay. And just to show how evolved we are here at Unity of Flagstaff, Wiley and Matt have figured out quantum physics. They can be two places at a time. Blessings, my friends, blessings, and thank you. Don't forget www.unityofflagstaff.org. If you have questions about the ministry, check it out there. If not, call me, email me. We're here to support you. Thank you again for being here. You made this happen. Thank you. Namaste.
I always like to leave them with a laugh.
There you go. There you go. Good job. Thanks, everybody.